That day, I thought she came to me because she was hurting. Now I understand she came because she couldn't bear her own lies anymore. Why was she crying so hard? That question pierced me then, and it still haunts me today. When I remember how her shoulders shook with sobs as she sat in front of me, I feel a chill down my spine. I was so naive. I was head over heels in love with Haley, my first real girlfriend. Our relationship had lasted for 2 years, and I was so happy. So happy, in fact, that I was willing to turn a blind eye to everything. Over time, our relationship had devolved from something warm and bright into a toxic swamp full of manipulation and lies. Haley was slowly revealing her true colors, but blinded by happiness, I thought it was normal. I let her walk all over me. Every argument where she was in the wrong ended with me apologizing just to avoid conflict. I was so consumed by her that I didn't even notice how she was slowly destroying me. I convinced myself that this was normal, that I just had to be more patient and understanding. But one day, her lies caught up to her. Haley came to me, her face swollen from crying and her eyes filled with panic. I immediately hugged her, thinking something awful had happened. She clung to me, and I felt her body trembling. "I have to confess something to you," she whispered. My heart sank. I was prepared to hear anything but what she told me. She confessed that she had lied about going to church and that her phone was off for 5 hours because of some church event. I had believed that story. In reality, she didn't go to church, but met up with a group of guys she knew. There were over 10 of them, and she was the only girl in their company. She didn't say what they did, not going into detail, just that they had hung out. I was so stunned that I simply took her word for it. I didn't realize that her tears and repentance were caused not by an innocent outing, but by something much more serious. I didn't think about cheating. For me, it was simply impossible. I was confident in our feelings, in our connection. I couldn't believe she was capable of such a thing. I attributed her behavior to guilt for lying to me. I didn't ask any extra questions, didn't pressure her. I just hugged her and told her it was okay. Now I realize that was my biggest mistake. My trust gave her the opportunity to hide the truth. I gave her a chance to avoid the answer, and I was left in the dark. I couldn't understand why she had hidden it for a whole month. Why did she need to turn off her phone? Several months passed, and I had almost forgotten about that conversation. But one evening, it all came back to me. It was as if something flashbanged in my mind. I was lying in bed, and her words replayed in my head. I kept replaying her words over and over, and realized that everything she said made no sense. Why would she need to turn off her phone to hang out with friends? Why was she crying so hard? Why did she hide it from me for a whole month? That's when I started to connect the dots. The lie about church, the turned-off phone, the tears, the guilt. All these fragments fit together into one terrifying picture. The true reason for her tears was obvious. She had been with one of those guys. Something in my heart just broke. I was so naive. She had brought our entire love to nothing, while I was blind and saw nothing. My heart was so broken that I thought I would never recover. I was furious. I was angry at myself for trusting her so blindly. I was angry at her for deceiving and lying to me. I felt like a complete idiot who had allowed himself to be used. This realization was the climax, the moment I knew I had to end this. The tears I had held back all this time finally poured out. I was crying not from pain, but from the realization that my first love was nothing but a lie. I realized she didn't deserve me, my feelings, my love. I understood that she had just used me to cover up her infidelity. All this time I thought she came to me because she was in pain. Now I understand she came because she couldn't bear her own lies anymore. I could finally see clearly that all her actions, all her tears were just a performance she put on to ease her own guilt. I no longer wanted to be part of that show. I finally realized that I deserved better. I deserve an honest and sincere relationship. I was free from this toxic swamp she had created around me.